Okay, turn 11. We got to see a battle this turn, which was very, very interesting. A battle between Ulm and Pangaea. Ulm was attacking Pangaea in the Forest of the Lost. He was using an expansion party of Rangers of Ulm, much like he sent after me, some Markata Archer mercenaries, and a few Ulmish wolves. On Pangaea's side, Pangaea had quite a bit of province defense, is what I think this is. Archers, militia, indie heavy infantry, a few satyrs, a pack of Dryad hoplites, they're sacreds, some Amazons, and 2 Keepers of Traditions with great names. Small Loan of $1 million, and this so-called Judge, the Keepers of Secrets, with extraordinary agility on that one, as well as a Cataphract Commander. I love those names, by the way, I really do. So, the Dryad Hoplites, fairly unexceptional by themselves. He's got a pretty heavy bless. So, attack skill +2, fire resistance +10, that's fire 5. Strength +6, that is 9 points total of blood or earth. And then Blood Surge, which is 4 points of blood. So I'm thinking probably he's gone like, because strength is 3 points. Yeah, so probably he's gone like blood 7, earth 6, fire 5, which is an interesting combination. But what it gives him is they're, of course, highly fire resistant. And then with the Blood Surge, they get better when they kill. And with the strength +6, they do quite a bit of damage. So these Dryad Hoplites are actually quite threatening, especially because their defense skill is very high. And they have Awe 2, so they're incredibly hard to fight in melee. And with there being effectively no infantry on Ulm's side, also he had a Black Harpy that flew in, the Pangaean infantry basically just charges through and mulches his troops. And you can see with the Blood Surge active, Dryad Hoplites are extremely dangerous with this bless. Attack skill 18, defense skill 17, strength 19. Wow. And that's with the -1 harassed penalty, so their stats are through the roof with this bless active. Plus, of course, they have the Awe, so they're not going to get attacked back all that much. So they basically just carve their way through Ulm. And the Keepers of Tradition are also sacred and blessed, and so their attack skill is through the roof, and their damage is incredibly high. And of course, they're also berserking, and they can trample. They're still not fantastic, but with this bless, I think they can do work. So Pangaea wipes out that little Ulm army with no trouble whatsoever. It's actually fairly large in numbers, but not in strength. The Markata Archers are all mercenaries, so that was a cheap mercenary group. The Rangers of Ulm, some of them got away, and then the Wolves don't hardly matter. They did kill the commander, however, so what he's got now is effectively about 15 stranded Rangers in a couple of other provinces. He may well have lost some to retreat as well. And yeah, most of that stuff was province defense. This was the only actual army. He did lose about half his Dryad Hoplites, because even the Hoplon and their armor can't entirely protect them from crossbow bolts. Like I've mentioned before, 11 armor piercing, they reduce 60% of protection. So with 14 and 19 is 33. Cut that in half, you're down to 16. So yeah, their overall prot ends up being about 12 or 13. Armor piercing is such a powerful ability, especially on missiles, because it cuts through shields. That's the real thing that makes it really, really dangerous. A Hoplon is very good protection against arrows. Against crossbow bolts, it merely lowers the expected damage from catastrophic to potentially survivable. So, I am moving my army, my pretty significant army, into Ulmish territory. I have 29 mixed infantry, mainly Iron Guard, but with some Helot soldiers mixed in. I've got a large pack of 45 missile troops, but only a few are crossbows. Most are archers, unfortunately. And then I have 4 Mouflon cataphracts. Opposing me is Hector's Heavy Horse, which are a heavy cavalry mercenary group, which Ulm has recruited there. Hector's Heavy Horsemen, 20 heavy cavalry. Actually, I don't know how many exactly they have. 13. So they have 13 plus the commander, and they also have some rangers and light infantry. In his home province, he's begun recruiting Zweihanders, as well as, of course, all his free spawn wolves, which aren't very dangerous. If we look at pretenders, we can take a look at those Zweihanders. He's named his god Bloody Mary, incidentally, but these titles definitely indicate an earth and nature crosspath god, as I mentioned before. The Zweihanders are going to be tough for my infantry to fight, because once again they have protection 21. Their defense skill is low, but with that high prot, my swords are not going to do much damage to them, and their great swords hit hard enough to cut through the armor of my Iron Guard. So my infantry is not going to be able to deal with Zweihanders very well. I think I can push through here just by surrounding and outnumbering that cavalry, But I really do need to get a lot of crossbows going. So I need to start pumping out crossbows here in a big way. Even though it gets me fewer units, the crossbows are going to be absolutely vital. That also, I think, means that I need to stop recruiting Mouflons, because I need chaff. The Mouflons are good and all, and I like them, but I can't afford to have that many. So I'm going to cut out 2 of those guys and spam out more Helot soldiers. So I'll have 3 Mouflons per turn, a bunch of Helot soldiers, and a bunch of crossbows. In fact, I may... I may get some Cyclops. But then I need Cyclope or Cataphract commanders to lead them. Oof. I think I'm going to go full infantry. The Mouflon Cataphracts are nice, but I can't, against Olmish units, I can't really rely on them is the problem. So yeah, we're going to go with full infantry for right now. I got a great random event this turn. I found a lab, got a whole bunch of gems, and a firebrand. So I got a free magical weapon, which I will absolutely use. Firebrands are fantastic magic weapons. And of course I got a free lab, which makes me kind of want to fort this province. It's okay to suck resources away from Golan Fens, because Golan Fens is not going to be used to recruit things, basically, ever. Nejdeho over here, or Nejdejo, or whatever you want to call him, is up there recruiting. I can recruit Amazons here. Up there, upgrading to a fortress, rather. And the Gigantist is going to hop up there and build a lab in this province, and then he can kind of double back, and we'll get another commander out. Let's get a Phlegran commander. Can I afford that? I have 113 resources here. So if I cancel those guys out, I could recruit a Cyclope commander who could lead Cyclope warriors, Cyclope soldiers. These guys. I could actually recruit Cyclopes in this province, at least 1 per turn. Let's get a Cyclope commander. They're not the best commanders, but they do still have Taskmaster, and I can use them eventually. If nothing else, they can also be turned into light thugs, because they have high protection, they've got decent stats, high strength, high hit points. You can give them a little bit of magic gear, and they can clear province defense pretty effectively, like a firebrand and a shield of some kind, maybe a horror helmet or something if you really, really want to, although I wouldn't waste, frankly, I wouldn't waste Tyrant turns forging them death items. But you could give them a couple of minor items that they could probably clear province defense pretty okay, especially if they had just a couple of Cyclope warriors with them. And then I can turn out some archers here. So yeah, that'll be fine. Meanwhile, down here recruiting, and upgrading. 1 turn left. And of course, I'm building the Palisade. Leto is searching. These 2 gentlemen need to move over in this direction. They can get up there and site search and build a lab. Site searched here at a basic level, didn't find anything. I have Iantes moving around site searching, and I will have a second Oppressor Archon next turn. So, how I anticipate the war against Ulm going. These units are going to move north. I'm not sure if he's going to wait to build up more troops and try to make Ulm unsiegeable, or if he's going to move out immediately, but this battle should go okay. I outnumber him to such a degree that I should be able to lap around those heavy cavalry. And I also have my Mouflon Cataphracts, who can attack rear and hopefully snipe his commanders, since he won't have a long enough line to stop them. The infantry with archer and crossbow support, I think, should be able to fight their way through those heavy cavalry, because heavy cavalry do not have the highest damage attacks. I mean, heavy cavalry are a lot like my Mouflon Cataphracts, but I think they actually do 1 point less of damage across the board. So, I think my infantry can basically tank the heavy cavalry pretty well. On the charge, I'm going to take a beating. But after that, my infantry should be able to tank him, and my infantry's average morale is absurd. Helot soldier morale, low, but morale is rolled against the majority morale in the unit, and the majority morale in this unit is 22. They're not going to run. They're just not. If they can get behind me to my archers, they might be able to make the archers run. But we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. So overall, I think I'm going to be able to take this province pretty easily. I can then probably, depending on where Pangaea has gone, I can then take that province, or possibly this province, and move down this way. I know Atlantis is going to be coming in this direction, towards Bog of Beasts. And of course, we have Ragha right over here, who may also interject. I'm hoping, of course, to end up with Ulm's capital, but I can't guarantee that will happen. It might be Pangaea who ends up with Ulm's capital. That would be unfortunate. That would actually be really unfortunate. I really, really don't want that to happen because, of course, Ulm's capital generates a whole bunch of gems. It gives you death gems, which I can really use. It also gives nature and astral gems, and I could really use those as well. So, I really, really want to get Ulm's capital for myself. Of course, I was thinking ahead to my next word. Of course, sieging down this citadel will take quite a while, but we can do it. It's perfectly doable, and we have a giant citadel up here that has even higher wall integrity, which is always nice. So, that is the plan, and we'll see how it executes starting in turn 12 here. I'm going to wait one more turn of recruitment before I give troops to my Phlegran priest and send him off to lead them to the front. I'm also going to start recruiting independent commanders. They're no good for leading troops in combat, but they are good for shuffling troops forward to other locations. I'm recruiting scouts there. Also, I can recruit scouts here, which I apparently never noticed before. So I'm starting to pump out scouts in that province as well. And that should all be really good. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in turn 12. Alright, turn 12, and let's look at how that battle went. So in Strongdale, the heavy cavalry actually did pull back. So our line of infantry and archers and crossbows, plus our move-long cataphracts, was only fighting a heavy province defense, or fairly heavy province defense, plus a few units, mainly Rangers of Ulm and some Pikeneers. And we did pretty well. Our infantry charged in. Our Helot soldiers mainly got murdered, but the Iron Guard did not. They held while my Mouflon cataphracts ran around the back, routed the leadership, and our infantry chased the enemy off. So, decisive victory for us. You can see province defense, like 30 points of province defense. Pretty significant. And then a very small number of actual troops. We lost 3 Helot archers, 6 Helot soldiers, most of our Helot soldiers, and 4 of our Iron Guard. So, reasonable losses, like noticeable losses. The Iron Guard did work, and so did the Mouflon cataphracts. So, very good job on their parts. So, we've taken Strongdale. Unexpected events, we got heat in Umbro. We got more water gems in Golan Fens, which is pretty cool, and we completed our fortress. So that has upgraded. We're still building shackled mages and pumping out even more infantry. Got infantry up here. Still pumping more out. And that was the wrong button. And Fairies here, our priest, has grabbed all the troops we have right now and is moving them south to Grey Mounds. We're actually falling back. Why? Because there's 2 armies here. This army, mainly Zweihanders and Wolves. We could probably take that one. This army, about 50 more units. Rangers, heavy cavalry, and wolves. If we combine these 2 armies, they can run over this army, because the Zweihanders are very solid infantry who will inflict high casualties, and then the heavy cavalry will be able to run around, get to our commanders and archers, and we don't have enough crossbows to punch through all that heavy armor all at once. We need more crossbows. Fortunately, we do have a number of crossbows coming south, and in here, we have some crossbows, and we're recruiting more. We are still recruiting a mix of archers as well, just because archers use up our resources much less, and so we can recruit literally like 5 or 6 archers for the cost of 1 crossbow. Actually, can I get 1 more crossbow? Yeah, let me get 1 more crossbow there. So yeah, we'll have a few archers mixed in, but we're going to be phasing archers out largely in favor of more and more crossbows as time goes on. Especially against most late age nations, to be honest. A new competitor has entered the battle, which is Atlantis here. Atlantis is moving their armies in. They've taken this in neutral territory, and then they should be attacking Ulm, trying to get a piece before they are wiped out. Pangaea's army has vanished, which is to be expected since they are stealthy. And we have seen Man here in Earthsword Desert. So lots and lots of fun. Up here, the Gigantus is building a lab. This fortress is also getting upgraded, and simultaneously, this palisade is about to finish. We have also started a palisade right here. So since we have that lab, we're going to build a palisade there. Like I said, it'll pull resources away from Golan Fens. But worst case scenario, Golan Fens can still pump out archers and maybe some Amazons. Not many Amazons, since Amazons require recruitment points, and we don't have those here. But it'll be okay that there are fewer resources available for Golan Fens. Because Blackdale will have more resources available for it. And also more recruitment points by a lot. So, great. After building that lab, the Gigantist is going to probably just start site searching. Start searching for nature sites. So that I can start building up a nature income, which currently I don't have. My gem income right now is actually anemic, because I haven't hardly increased it at all. I have found the one fire site that my remote site searching found. Where was that? I've got the steel swamps, which is giving me 1 water and 1 earth. And then I found a couple mines. I was thinking of a different game. I haven't found any fire sites in this game. Ignore me. Yeah, that's about it, because I haven't been site searching very much. Iontes is moving out. I've now got Amrinkius, who is going to be moving over here to site search. And then down here, and etc. Still gonna have trouble getting across the river, which is why I need to be recruiting mages up here. And once I recruit those mages up there, they're basically going to stay there. So these 2 forts are pretty much going to have to to prosecute the war to the north when there is a war to the north, until I get Laestrygonians. I've shifted my research slightly. I'm going all the way up to construction level 4. Why? Because I remembered I don't actually need summon earth power in order to cast spells, as long as I have 4 communion slaves. So I'm just recruiting shackled mages. I have 1. In 3 more turns, I'll have 4 shackled mages. I'm collapsing in a couple of my oppressors. And another oppressor up here. I'm moving him as well, which is killing my research a little bit, but that'll be alright. With those 3 oppressors down there, once I recruit 4 communion slaves, I'll have a functional mage corps capable of casting level 3 spells very, very easily. As long as my army remains intact until that time, I can then go into battle with them, and I can lay down, you know, legions of steel and strength of giants on my infantry, which will instantly make them incredibly more dangerous, because legions of steel and strength of giants on Iron Guard will make them protection 21, so very comparable to Olmish infantry, and strength 15, or 16 I think, actually. I think it's plus 4. Strength 16, which will mean that they're hitting as hard as Olmish Zweihanders. So it'll basically, like, make them Zweihanders, but also morale 22, which will be very, very solid. And of course I can also drop it on the Mouflon Cataphracts to make them incredibly dangerous for heavy cavalry. So that is the plan, such as it is. I don't know where Pangaea is planning to attack, and I don't know where Atlantis is planning to attack, so I'm going to talk to them, coordinate a little bit. I'm hoping that these armies don't combine towards me. If they don't, I can just kind of dance back and forth a little bit, maybe snag another province. If they do, then it becomes trickier. I have to basically pull back. I can out-recruit Ulm. The only thing that Ulm can recruit faster than I can is wolves. And wolves are fairly garbage. If we look at the units again... His Rangers of Ulm, he can pump out fairly quickly, but not as quickly as I can recruit slaves. And Zweihanders, he certainly can't. Zweihanders are even more resource-intensive than my units. He's not recruiting any Black Templars, which is actually pretty good for... Well, Black Templars would be a kind of a solid choice, because their high protection means that my infantry can't hardly hurt them, but my crossbows will be able to cut them down fairly quickly. And Pikeneers are very comparable to my infantry, but they cost a little bit more gold, and they cost a few more resource points, about double the recruitment points. So, yeah, I can outproduce Ulm, especially because he has his capital and 1 palisade. He might have another one down south here, I guess. And I have 1, 2, about to be 3, 4, about to be 5 in a couple turns, forts already going. Now, I'm only using 2 of them to actually attack him, but mine's already upgraded, and he is not. And like I said, I'm about to have a 3rd, and as soon as this one starts up, I'm going to start churning infantry out of it as well. So, yeah, I think this war is going to go well. To be honest, I think I would do okay in this war, even if I was the only player. If I was the only one fighting Ulm, or if Ulm fights only me, at this point, I'll get pushed back. I'll have to go back into my fortress. He'll take a couple of these provinces down here, and then once my reinforcements arrive, I'll push out again and start killing his armies and retaking my land and pushing into his land. But since I'm not the only player, I think Ulm's about to get rolled. And like I said before, I kind of feel a little bit bad about this, but this is how Dominions goes, especially when you have, in the late age, when you have all these kind of aggressive nations who you want to either wipe out early or want to wipe people out early. Normally this would be an aggressive nation who wants to wipe people out early, as would Pangaea, as would Midgard, actually. And Abysia is one you want to kill early if you can. Ulm is definitely one you want to kill early. And there's a few on here. There is definitely a few. So is Phlegra, for that matter. You want to kill Phlegra before they can get Laestrygonians, I think. But that is the turn. So, I'll see y'all on turn 13. This is kind of a good little analysis point. The end of the first year. At the end of the first year, I've got a solid position. I've got slightly more than my quote-unquote fair share of the provinces. My research is still garbage, but that's okay. It's ramping up, and it will continue to ramp up fairly quickly. Especially once I hit construction level 4. I'm hoping to get some air gem income. And once I get some air gem income, I can forge a dwarven hammer, give it to an air random, and just have him pump out air quills forever. So that will kick my research into fairly high gear. Gonna site search for some nature income, get some nature income going, and so when the Laestrygonians come out, I'm going to hope to have some nature items forged for them, and of course also some shrouds, since I need some astral pearl income as well. And I can forge shrouds to give them my regen and reinvigoration bless, and that will make them extremely terrifying. So, thanks for watching. See you next turn. Alright, turn 13. No fighting this turn because Ulm actually pulled back. They've pulled back to their capital where they appear to be preparing to make their final stand. And I can't really blame them because at this point they've also been attacked by Atlantis and Tianqi. So Atlantis, that was a neutral province when they took it. They've now moved into Ulmish territory, and Tianqi has attacked this fort in Strongbay, this palisade. So Ulm is under siege from all sides by 4 separate nations. We can see here their god, Bloody Mary the Demi-Lich, who just woke up, I think. And yeah, they are in a bad way. I'm already in negotiations with Pangaea about Ulm's capital. And basically, josieLOL has said, if you can take it, you can keep it. Which is fair. Very, very fair. It does mean it's going to be a little bit of a race. Now, numerically, my numbers right now are not really high enough to do that. I need to be pumping out more dudes. But I am critically short of gold, which is a strange way for things to be for Phlegra. It's happening because I've been building so many darn forts. I've got this palisade still under construction, and I am upgrading this to a fortress. So, you know, it just takes time. Hello, there's some crossbowmen and dryad hoplites. I've got some mages moving around site searching, so we're just going to set him to retreat and put him all the way at the back real quick, to prevent any sudden accidents, let's say, euphemistically. This is a great little province. It's going to have over 100 recruitment points once I upgrade it, but I need to actually upgrade it. And once I do, I'll pump out, probably start grabbing a couple of Mouflon cataphracts somewhere. By the way, I found a bug. I was checking, I was confused about the Mouflon cataphracts costing so many resources, because it's way out of line with what their gear is. I mean, the only heavy cavalry that costs more resources than that are the Black Templars of Ulm, and they have protection 23, and their gear is magic. Like, Zayedans cost fewer resources than this. So I double-checked in the inspector, and I was asking around about people and trying to figure out how these things are calculated. Well, it turns out that Mouflon cataphracts are actually getting charged about 50% more resources for their equipment, their armor, and their weapons than any other cavalry, because they don't have a certain tag that lets the game know what size they are. The game assumes they're size 3 because they're mounted on a mount that's size 3, and every other cavalry has a special tag that lets it know that actually, hey, this guy is only size 2, he's just riding on a horse or a lizard or a sheep or whatever. So they should be, assuming that's a bug, which it really looks like it is, they should actually be 47 resources instead of 62 or 60. I thought it was 62, but apparently it's 63. Anyway, it's a very significant discount. And if they were 47 resources, I would have been churning them out before this, because if they're 47 resources, you can pump out 10 if you have 500 resources in your capital. As it is, I could only recruit like a few. I could recruit 5. And recruitment points obviously at that point would be the limiter, because they cost about 40 recruitment points each. But I could get 5 of them. But right now I need the chaff, as I mentioned. So we're just churning out that chaff. Great. So, yeah, building up chaff numbers, gonna be moving down to besiege this fortress. Now, most of the people in here are wolves. Wolves do not generate a lot of siege defense because they're animals and they're weak. That being said, they will still generate some. So this fort does probably have like a bunch of siege defense at like 100 maybe, something like that. So I need a lot of troopers to overwhelm that. This army has got 72. This army has got about 30, so that's about 100 all told. We've got another 42 there, and then we're moving down with another 50 or so. Well, not even. Because a lot of that is coming from my Cyclops Smiths, who are 7 each. So this is about 20. Moving down with another about 20. And of course, we'll just keep churning them out of the forts. Just churning them on out. What I may actually do here is swap some production. Like these guys, we don't need these guys right now. That frees up a little bit of gold. And we can use that gold to pump out more infantry and more crossbows down here. We'll set that on repeat recruitment. And we will get them moving. So we're building that fort, searching for magic sites, searching for magic sites, and searching for magic sites. Doing a lot of site searching, trying to bump up my gem income. In events today, I lost all my taxes from Anvast, which is okay because Anvast is a weak province. And we got some free gems from Umbro, which is nice. Our scout got attacked. We've got Pygon Salar, Turtle Chief, Turtle Warriors. Ragha is recruiting Turtle Warriors to go underwater. Which I don't like to see because, well, I want to go underwater. I want to take it all. I want it all for me. I want it to be all mine. But it looks like he may not be building the fort anymore. Like, before it said there was a fort under construction here. Maybe it was because I had the scout actually in the province. I think it was. Built our palisades, upgraded our fortress, and that's about it. Killed a dude patrolling. So, yeah, things are going really well. We just need to move into Ulm's territory. I am at least going to get these 2 provinces, and then I'm going to hope that I can also take the capital. If I can't, it'll be annoying. If Pangaea takes the capital, then probably Pangaea is going to be the next target for a war, because they're right there, they're a neighbor, and if they have that second capital, then they're going to start spiraling out of control, and Pangaea already spirals out of control pretty quickly. So I'll definitely want to do something about them. Yeah, or possibly Ragha. We'll see. For right now, I'm just going to plan on taking the capital myself. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in turn 14. Alright, it's turn 14, and hello there, Pristine the Uttervast. This is Relay's god, who was clearly a dormant. Uttervast. He's been playing in the channel like he took a Kraken, which is stealthy, and so he might theoretically be able to get away with it not being visible, but he has now tipped his hand by hopping right over Ragha to jump into my lake, which I don't like. As I just said, actually, this is my lake. I own this lake because I have the recruitable amphibious supercombatants and nobody else does. And more particularly, we already know that the amphibious nations are elsewhere. We know that Atlantis is in the other lake. We knew that Relay, for a while, was in the other lake. The only other amphibious nations we have Mictlan, but Mictlan's already been defeated. Late Age Agartha is not amphibious anymore. Satis, Pangaea, Midgard, Utgard, Ragha, not amphibious. Erytheia is, and we don't technically know where Erytheia is, but if they bordered this lake, I would have already seen them. I know Atlantis is up here. Relay has told me in negotiations that this is Atlantis' capital right there. So that makes me think that Erytheia is probably over here somewhere. Not here, obviously, but they might be up here. That's actually probably Agartha, given that that is taken. Agartha might be here, or Agartha might be there, probably there. So then Erytheia is like in this area somewhere. And they haven't shown up in this lake yet. And if someone does show up in this lake, I fully intend to kick them right out. Because the Laestrygonians are coming, and they are amphibious, and they're going to be mad as hell. So, the Throne of the Stars has been claimed by the last Conquistador. We searched a whole bunch of places for magic sites, didn't find any. We did find a magic site in the Mountains of Mist. We found a Boiling Bog, which increased our gem income by 2, which is pretty neat. So we now have a little bit more water income and more fire income. Still no air income, which is really unfortunate because I have some construction now. I'd love to have some air gems. But no joy in Mudville when it comes to air gems just yet. The Gigantist is moving around site searching. I've also got Nora, and Nora random to death, which is fantastically useful. My very first Jade Sorceress. So, she's going to site search these 3 provinces. And It would also be really useful to have a ring of water breathing, which I believe should now enable you to cross rivers. I'm not going to forge it just yet. She's going to search. Actually, I might as well forge that if I can. Nikator can forge it. Yeah, forge a ring of water breathing real quick. Because like I said, I think if you can breathe water, I believe you can cross rivers. So that will enable her to get across the river and sight search these provinces, and then she can hand it off to one of these guys who can cross the river and sight search these provinces in all of his paths, like Amrinkius. Amrinkius is coming down here, doubling back this way to sight search these provinces, and Iantes will meet him. We're recruiting one more of those bad boys, an Oppressor Archon. We're also recruiting another Phlegran Priest, because this term we got the first of the Phlegran National Look Out, the Laestrygonians Are Coming events. So the Burning Mountain is rumbling throughout the land. Fearful tales are told of the giant monstrosities that wage war upon gods. And we got a big hit of unrest. The Phlegran Priests that we have here helped mitigate that. So we have 3 of them. So our unrest is only actually 15 instead of over 20. And I'm recruiting another one just that I can help with that mitigation, because each one of these guys reduces unrest by 2, which means that they can, of course, kind of help keep us under control. And later in the game, if necessary, I can use these guys to blood hunt and forcibly break me into blood if I want to break into blood. Which, I mean, it certainly, like, it wouldn't be bad. I would like to do that. It takes a lot of blood 0 sight searching turns to get enough slaves together to empower somebody to blood 1, so it's a very, very slow process, but if I'm churning out Phlegran Priests, it'll work. That also reminds me that I really need to get going on research, because I need Construction 4, Alteration 4 at a minimum in order to hit the minimum, like, acceptable level for Laestrygonians. In fact, I think I might need Construction 6 for Shrouds, or are they Construction 4? I don't remember. Give me 1 second. I'm actually going to look that up. I know you're just seeing the game right now. I'm actually looking in the mod inspector just to double check to make sure what the Shroud of the Battle Saint is, because the Shroud, of course, is a key part of the strategy, since the Shroud of the Battle Saint enables you to have your blessing on a torso slot without using any nature gems. Okay, yeah, it's Construction 4, like I thought. So yeah, it's the Shroud of the Battle Saint. And it costs 5 Astral Pearls, so it lets me get Regeneration and Reinvigoration, both in one slot, for a cost of 5 Astral Pearls instead of Nature Gems. Now, of course, I don't currently have any Astral Pearl income, but it's relatively easy to alchemize other gems into Astral Pearls. So I can just alchemize some Fire Gems or something into Pearls, and it'll effectively cost me 10 Fire Gems instead of 5 Pearls, which is still fine. Like, that still does not hurt me in any way. What I also want to do is I also want to forge a Dwarven Hammer, because that will lower the cost of my items, and I will be forging a bunch of items over the course of this game. So getting a Dwarven Hammer early will help. That is, once again, crimping my research, but I'll do fine. So Construction level 4 is going to take a few more turns, and then Alteration level 4 will take several more as well. I really need to start pumping the research. I don't have the gold to build a lab here this turn, which is very unfortunate, but I just kind of have to live with it for now. These guys are all researching. If I have to take these mages out to go fight, that will also kill my research in a big way. I'm hoping that I don't have to. Over here, Tianqi is still besieging this fort. Atlantis and Ulm fought a battle in this province, I think. In Kunal, I didn't see a battle. I bounced a mounted commander off Strongdale, and Midgard attacked Abysia and took a province from them, which is fine. And I also got Growth and Luck in the Mountains of Mist, which is very nice. But so Atlantis fought a battle somewhere. It wasn't here, and it wasn't in the capital, because I've got scouts there. It might have been this province. But in any case, they fought a battle, and they won, I guess. Or actually, I think they lost, because I guess these guys retreated. So they killed a bunch of... Yeah, because there's a few wolves over here, so I think the battle was fought right here in Jintmark. They killed a whole bunch of wolves and stuff, but they didn't win. And so they were forced into retreat. So Tianqi is still besieging that, and I am moving my army down. I'm actually splitting my army slightly. This small gang of 25 units is going over here to conquer Light Hills, to lay claim to that, while the rest of my army, about 75 units, or 66 units, sorry, I can't count at all. That's 67 units. Well, these 67 units move down here to take this place. They do have a bunch of infantry of Ulm, but the late age infantry of Ulm are not nearly as scary as the middle age infantry of Ulm. Infantry of Ulm have moderate protection and okay stats otherwise and Morning Stars. So, like, my infantry can actually beat these guys. My Iron Guard can chew up infantry of Ulm. They do get +2 attack versus shield. So effectively they have attack 13 against my Iron Guard, but even, like, notwithstanding, Iron Guard are better. They have attack 15, they do more damage, they have higher protection, and much, much higher morale. So Iron Guard will cut through infantry of Ulm no problem, as well as wolves. They will also cut through wolves no problem. So I should be able to go down here, lay siege to Ulm. I've got another army rolling in, another 59 units under Weenie Jr., and then I've got another few units under Trast coming down. And up here, Urborn is going to continue the tradition and just keep on rolling. Big wheels keep on turning, Proud Mary keep on burning, etc. So, lots of troops rolling down south. Still pumping out more troops up here as well. Oh, I can recruit one more archer. And we're doing fine. We're doing just fine. Actually, we've got 400 resources. I don't have the gold. I do not have the gold to maintain Mouflon recruitment. I also don't have the recruitment points. Recruitment points are really what I need in order to do Mouflons. This is actually a problem with going Turmoil 3. You want to go Turmoil 3 because you can still pump out tons and tons of slaves, but the Mouflon Cataphracts, which are otherwise quite good units, still require 39 recruitment points. And of course, once they're reduced down to 47 resources, they will be extremely effective units. It's almost tempting enough to make you want to go really good scales and take like a super cheap expander and not even bother trying to get a bless, which I think Phlegra can definitely do with the Laestrygonians. Like, even without a bless, they can definitely function as super combatants. But in any case, that's basically the turn. I've talked with Relay, and basically I made an agreement with Relay that I get these 4 underwater provinces and he can take all the rest. And the reason I made that agreement is because I don't have the Laestrygonians yet. Once I have the Laestrygonians, we've agreed to a NAP 3, a non-aggression pact, with a 3-turn cancellation. So once I have the Laestrygonians, I'll go down here and I'll take these provinces, and I'll end the non-aggression pact and I'll wipe him out. Because the reason why Christine is over here is because Relay is getting his crap pushed in over here by Atlantis. So he's getting the shit kicked out of him, and he's fled over in this direction. And the Christine, the Uttervast, can do this because she can actually teleport. Like, the Uttervast's natural movement is teleportation, and so he can just blip over across this land bridge without having to actually touch any of these provinces and get into my lake. So he's going to be running around conquering these provinces in order to get income and stuff, and then once my Laestrygonians come out, I'm going to move Enceladus down here and reconquer some of these provinces, and then my next Laestrygonian, and I'm going to take over the whole damn lake with Laestrygonian tyrants, because nobody can stop me. As I just had that whole geopolitical discussion earlier on, there is no one who can stop me from taking this lake. Ragha can't get underwater, Abysia can't get underwater, Ulm can't get underwater, Tianchi can't get underwater very easily. Atlantis can, but Atlantis is up here and hasn't taken these provinces yet, so they don't have the land connection, and even if they did, a Laestrygonian can fight Atlantean armies. Especially if they have to march across like this before they get to me. So, this lake, I'm pretty sure at this point I will get to own. All I have to do is kick Relay out, and the only, like, the Uttervasts are dangerous. I don't mean to say they're not. But a geared Laestrygonian can absolutely take an Uttervast. The damage reversal would be the most, like... The damage reversal is the threatening part of an Uttervast. And Laestrygonians with gear have such sky-high magic resistance that damage reversal really just doesn't matter to them. So, that will be the strategy. I'm a poet and didn't know it. I've stopped recruiting dudes over here. I should probably just... Nah, I'm just going to leave him off. I'm going to try to save up some minuscule scrap of money so that I can build that next turn. Because my net income is still only like 1,000. But I definitely need to be doing all these things. Oh, and I've got Percy's up here still too. Yeah, Percy's. What do you want to do with your life? Just like patrol. I forget why I recruited him. I had an idea in mind, and I recruited this guy, and it. Oh, that's right. I was gonna try to use this place to recruit Cyclops soldiers, wasn't I? Yeah, that was a stupid idea. Yeah, Percy's. You're just a failure. Just stand here and think about what you haven't done with your life. So, that's the plan, and I will see you all in turn 15 as the mountain begins to rumble and the imprisoned titans start to stir. Take care.